My name is Stephanie Knapp, and I am presenting today for LIS 536 at the University of Buffalo Spring Semester 2021. This presentation is about the immigrant population in the United States, representation of immigrants in children's and young adult literature, why it is important, and how we as LIS professionals can assist those who are learning English as a second language. Immigrants make up a significant portion of the population of the United States, hailing from many different countries. As librarians, our collections need to portray immigrant individuals, families, and their stories so that our young patrons can see themselves and learn about others. Through children's and young adult literature, we can honor their diverse identities, support their academic growth in multiple languages, cultivate multicultural understanding, and show linguistic and cultural pluralism. We also need to ensure we are creating inclusive programming to help immigrants who are learning English as a second language, who I will refer to in this presentation as English Language Learners, ELLs. The learning outcomes for this presentation are as follows. The audience will gain a general understanding of immigrants, issues, processes, and who they are. The audience will understand the importance of providing resources to young immigrants, as well as ways to support them. The audience will learn ideas for ELL programs that can be implemented. Immigrants today face issues of perception. Common metaphors about immigrants, including flood, crisis, and invasion, demonize them not for any particular crimes, but for simply entering the host country in large numbers. This type of language is common and normalized among the media, which makes it common and normal among society. This can trickle down to children. When children hear negative points of view about any group, that can shape their thinking. Also, children who are immigrants may see themselves as lesser than because of these negative viewpoints that are often widespread. How do immigrants get here? The process of entering the United States as a legal immigrant is challenging, and there are three ways to do so. The first is through family reunification, where U.S. citizens and residents can be reunified with family that are living abroad. The second is through employment sponsorship, whereby a highly trained professional or academic is given a temporary visa through their sponsor, typically their employer. The third is refugee status and asylum seekers, and these are people who have fled their countries due to circumstances such as political instability and war, or because of persecution because of race, religion, political ideology, etc. These immigrants have the exact same rights and responsibilities as U.S. citizens do. In the graph in the bottom left corner, you can see the data from 2019 shows that the majority of immigrants arriving to our country were from Asia and North or Central America, with a minority from South America, Europe, or Africa. All other countries of origin are grouped into the other category. Overall, 29% arrived because of family, 37% because of work, 29% because of school, and 5% because of safety and diversity reasons. There were just under 45 million immigrants in total living in the United States in 2019. This accounts for roughly 14% of people living in the United States, a significant portion of our population. The graph at the top of the second column shows the ages of immigrants arriving in the U.S., using data obtained from the years 2000 through 2017. An average of 20 to 27% of immigrants were under the age of 18. Additionally, in an article published in 2016, it was stated that 1 in 4 children in the U.S. is either an immigrant, a refugee, or was born in the U.S. to immigrants or refugees. This is another significant portion of young readers, and we must also consider that some of them may not speak English. Why is it important that we have resources for young immigrants? Well, currently, many books about immigrants that are available show folklore and legend of the country of origin, as opposed to the real-life issues that young immigrants are experiencing. Immigrant children need examples of other children who have navigated issues similar to those they are currently experiencing, especially as they move between their two very different worlds of school and home. Also, immigrant children can feel helpless or powerless. The move was not their decision, and they weren't asked how they felt about it. They know they are different from their peers and want to be accepted, but they must also accept the new world that they live in. As Marcia Bagman said in her article, Immigration in Childhood, Using Picture Books to Cope, quote, curricular material is relevant to the social and cultural experiences of children, engage interest, and generate the enthusiasm to keep learning, end quote. Keeping these children engaged in learning is especially important and could be more difficult when they are also navigating their two separate worlds of home and school, as well as issues much different than their peers, such as a language barrier. One's first language is a bridge for learning a second additional language. In some cases, language signals affiliation. An immigrant's first language can give them strong ties to their community. If we encourage immigrant students or English as second language learners to not speak their native language, that can create a divide or rift between the student and their family, cultural, and heritage. So, how can we support immigrant children who are English language learners? Some books about assimilation show the immigrant child doing what they can to blend in or covering, which is the downplaying or toning down of a disfavored identity in order to fit the mainstream. When reading books like this, a discussion should be had of the way marginalized communities have covered aspects of their identities or culture in order to feel like they could fit in and, in some cases, survive. Immigrant youth can be supported when those in education foster the child's bicultural identities rather than asking them to push this part of themselves away. This is known as acculturation rather than assimilation. Acculturation is the degree to which the immigrants maintain their ethnic culture while also learning the new culture. Acculturation also refers to the change that occurs in both immigrants and non-immigrants, although as one could imagine, the change is typically greater for immigrants. Programs in our libraries can be created as a resource for immigrants and children who are English language learners. These ideas and programs can be beneficial to all patrons of the library and can encourage community involvement. Non-English speakers can be represented in our libraries in the following ways: by developing collections in languages other than English, incorporating signage throughout the library in other languages, hiring staff members who are multilingual, having bilingual teen book clubs or story times, or create summer reading programs for children and teens that focus on books about immigrants. Here are some things to consider when thinking of English language learning programs. English language learners programs can show the community that the library is helping to assimilate immigrants successfully into the community, and the library can be seen as a center for citizenship and acceptance. Some things to consider when developing and implementing programs for ELL learners are to know demographics and statistics of those you are trying to serve, involve those you would like to serve or their parents into the program planning, and find out if your town or community center has classes taking place that are geared towards immigrants or English language learners. You could offer sessions for children or youth that partner with these classes. Here are several resources that you can access online for more information. The one I would like to highlight is the site Color in Colorado. This was probably the best online resource that I found for English language learners. They have resources for teachers, families, and schools, including basic information, book and author recommendations, videos, and countless other resources. The other three that are listed are also very great resources that you should check out. In conclusion, when it comes to immigrants and our society in general, diversity should not be feared nor viewed as a problem that needs to be solved. It should be encouraged, talked about, and presented as an enriching resource for all. Diversity among us has the power and opportunity to make all of our lives better. Diverse collections enable teachers and students to have empathetic feelings towards immigrant students, which can in turn open their hearts and minds to conversations and relationships. Within these diverse collections, accurate representations of lived experiences can validate immigrants and multilingual students who may feel marginalized in today's current climate. Multilingualism should be seen not as a negative or a barrier, but as an opportunity to foster new understandings, views, and narratives. Library programming that focuses on immigrants and ELLs can benefit these groups as well as the community as a whole. As future librarians, we have a responsibility to validate a future that celebrates cultural and linguistic diversity for children. Thank you.